This is Tank's Vlog for November 20th, 2017, wrapping up the day in sports. Monday Night Football has been the domain of the Seattle Seahawks for the last bunch of years. They had 11 straight wins coming into their game against the Atlanta Falcons. However, these are not the same Seahawks. This is a team that has been ravaged by injuries, losing Richard Sherman to an Achilles and Cam Chancellor, neck injury. The Legion of Boom is missing some key components. Falcons got off to a big lead, and they had looked to be cruising, but the Atlanta Falcons, as the Atlanta Falcons do, nearly blew the game in the fourth quarter. However, Pete Carroll today had a terrible game as coach. What was he thinking with that fake field goal at the end of the half? And then he calls a challenge play on a ball that was obviously not a catch. So they're forced to have Blair Walsh try a 52-yard field goal, and Blair Walsh does not have a 52-yard leg. I think his NFL career is definitely coming to a close. You know, if you miss it left or right, 52 yards is a hard kick. But if you miss it short, that doesn't look good. And the Seahawks end up losing to the Falcons 34-31. And at 6-4, the Seahawks are in danger of not making the playoffs. And right now, they're not a playoff team. They are not a playoff team. Too many injuries up there in Seattle. So it's going to be rough. There's going to be a lot of people sleepless in Seattle tonight. Switching to the NHL, Devils concluded a 4-game road trip, and they had a 3-1 lead, and they let it go. The Granlund scored twice in the third period, including once with the goalie pulled and once on the power play to tie the game, but the Devils bounced back and won the game on a goal by John Moore in overtime. I tell you, the Devils, they keep playing impressive. You know they're going to hit a wall eventually, but this is a good, young, entertaining team. They're competitive, and at 12-5-3, they come home, play a couple of games. You can't expect more from the Devils from the first 2 months. Elsewhere in the NHL, the Blue Jackets, they edged the Sabres 3-2. The Coyotes, they got a rare win tonight in Toronto, 4-1. They snapped a Maple Leafs 6-game winning streak, and it's just a 5th win of the year for Arizona, who's been the worst team in the NHL since day one. The Flames burnt the Capitals 4-1. Washington not off to a good start. The Capitals, and they're not playing too well. Predators, they beat the Jets 5-3. NBA, Boston Celtics. I tell you, they just keep winning. They had a surprisingly tough contest today against the woeful Dallas Mavericks, but they came through in overtime. Kyrie Irving, a big game, 110-102 win. Spurs beat the Hawks 96-85. Nuggets beat the Kings. Wizards beat the Bucks. Trailblazers over the Grizzlies. 76ers over the Jazz. Pacers over the Magic. Cavaliers now, they're starting to roll now. They're 10-7. Big win today against the Pistons, 116-88. Hornets stung the Timberwolves, and the New York Knicks got another big game by Kristaps Porzingis, clobbering the Los Angeles Clippers 107-85. At 5-11, the Clippers look to be sinking. Just recorded tonight. I recorded a new episode of Allow Me to Be Frank with a special guest appearance from Clem. We'll be dropping that episode as soon as tomorrow. So keep your eye out on iTunes and SoundCloud. It was an especially good show. Especially talked a lot about football and turkey. 2 subjects I especially love with Thanksgiving coming up in a few days. Today's 3 stars are Kyrie Irving of the Celtics, Matt Ryan of the Falcons, Anthony Davis of the Pelicans. A lot of big names have birthdays today. We got Aikman, Griffey, Strahan. But today's birthday shutout goes to Knicks legend Earl the Pearl Monroe, who turned 73. And then we take a look back to the 1982 NFL season. It was 35 years ago today that the first games were played after a 2-month strike. And one of the more interesting games was the Chicago Bears beating the Detroit Lions 20-17. It was in that game that Jim McMahon got his first NFL start, and Mike Ditka got the first win of his coaching career. So take a look at Barstool Sports for the whole story, and at Sports Encyclopedia, where sports history lives.